Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it. It's another edition of the Case by Case Sports Show. We improved a little bit more things this time, better quality this time. Made sure I had my settings right. Made sure I had everything good. It's been an interesting Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an interesting Thursday night for Colorado sports. Not as much has happened for the Avalanche or the Rockies. There has been one interesting thing with the Rockies. We'll get to that soon, but um, yeah, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna kick it off here on the Case by Case Sports Show, episode 2. My name is Jeremy Case. Thank you guys for tuning in. For those of you who are wondering, this is a show where we talk all Colorado sports, Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, Denver Broncos, Colorado Rockies. That is what's happening. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll save the best for last, the most recent for last that happened tonight. We'll kick things off with the Denver Nuggets today. So the Nuggets last night, they played against the Miami Heat and won 122 to 112. They're now 4-0 at home after starting last year, 1-2. For the Nuggets, some interesting stats to go off of the Nuggets, which I found interesting. That went over last night. In the Denver's in the Nuggets' first 7 games, they have 872 points, 335 rebounds, and 212 assists. The only other NBA team since 1982 with those numbers to begin the season was the 1985-1986 Los Angeles Lakers, 873 points, 341 assists, 341 rebounds, 226 assists. 396 of those points, 45% of the total, have come in the paint. The Nuggets have been dominating, absolutely dominating inside the paint. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change my background here, just so we're all in it with the Nuggets here. There we go. Let's change it. There we go. Nuggets Nation, here we are. So the Nuggets have been absolutely dominating in the paint. They were also plus 16 in their offensive rebounds, their biggest margin since January 17th of 2021 versus the Utah Jazz. Denver out-rebounded the Heat by 23 rebounds. That's nuts. 23 rebounds, 61 rebounds to 38. The 4th time with that big margin in the last 8 seasons. Guys, that's nothing to scoff at when it comes to the Denver Nuggets. Nothing. They have been playing excellent basketball. I know it seems slow. I know it seemed kind of like a weird start, but there's a couple of things to figure it out. But I'm really surprised about how well the bench is done with this team. The bench and a few other players that you didn't expect to step it up this early in the season have done so. Mainly the younger guys. Christian Brown stepped it up a lot. Tim Hardaway had a breakout game last night. Tim Hardaway Jr., that is, not senior. And just they're getting so much help. And Nikola Jokic was on fire against the Heat, triple double for him. It's just this Nuggets team. Just you can feel it once Cam Johnson gets going. You can feel it that the Nuggets are going to make a serious run at the NBA title this year. I don't think there's any questioning that, ladies and gentlemen. Last night in the first half, Jokic had 19.7 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Last night, since 1996, only 2 other players have had 19, 7, and 8 in any half. Neither had 2 steals, and that was LeBron James on February 18th, 2010 versus the Nuggets, and Luka Doncic December 6th, 2023 versus the Jazz. That's amazing. That's amazing. NBA teams which have started a season scoring 120 plus points, getting 30 plus assists, and shooting 50% plus field goal percentage in each of the first 3 home games. The 1978 Spurs, 6 in a row, the 1983 Spurs, 3 in a row, and the 2025 Denver Nuggets, 3 in a row, active streak. Just crazy stats, there's so many little tidbits here. We'll go over the last few I had here. For the first time in team history, the Nuggets have shot 50% plus field goal percentage in first of their 5, 6 games to start a season. Denver joins the Bucks this season, the Cavs last year, and the Suns 2009, and the Jazz of 2004 as the only NBA teams to do that since 1999. Crazy, crazy stats. The Nuggets have played 3 home games and have yet to trail in any of them, getting their third wire-to-wire win of the season. Had 5 all of last season. So that, I mean, Nuggets are off to a more significantly better start this year than they were last year, and probably, you know, quite honestly, almost since probably they won the title. And even then, they didn't have as great of a start. You know, um, Jamal Murray's just he's gone into a little bit of a slump. He started out real hot, and just lately he's not been, you know, uh, that good. Honestly, last night it wasn't a great game for Jamal Murray. It really wasn't. Um, it just at times seems like he couldn't get his shot going, and he just I don't know. I don't know what's been going on with Jamal. I really don't. It's been interesting. It's been really interesting. I mean, last night against the Heat in 34 minutes, he was 4 of 15 with a 26.7 field goal percentage, 1 from 8 from 3-point land, 12.5%. Free throws were good. He made 5 of 5, 100%, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, and only 14 points for Jamal Murray. You expect a little bit more out of Jamal than what he put up last night. But um, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. The basketball season it's 82 games, and the players are going to do this. You know, um, the bench is picking up the slack though for Jamal Murray and Cam Johnson, and fans. I see fans all the time knocking on Cam Johnson on X and stuff, and honestly, fans just need to calm down. I still think, look, if Cam Johnson doesn't get into a groove by Christmas, then okay, it's it's time to panic. It's time to show some real concerns about Cam Johnson, right? Like it's a new team, it's a new offensive system. Like not every player in the NBA gets an opportunity to play with a player like Nikola Jokic, guys. Okay, he doesn't. Um, you know, if he doesn't get it together and he doesn't start looking somewhat like his former self by Christmas, I'd start to worry a little bit. I honestly would, because by then, everybody says that's when the real NBA season begins is Christmas. I don't know. In this Western Conference, though, it's really, really tough. And you're going to see games like tomorrow night versus the Warriors for the Nuggets, where it's going to start. It's going to be like all the top contenders in the West. It's going to start looking like playoff games really, really early in the season. It is. I mean, the first meeting between the Nuggets and the Warriors, you know, it was close the whole time. And it looked like a playoff game, and it's going to be like that again tomorrow night. The Nuggets, Steph is Steph. The Warriors are not who they used to be, right? They're not they aren't who they used to be, but at the same time, Steph Curry's still Steph Curry. He can still get hot from time to time, and that can be really problematic for the Nuggets if they don't learn to start playing defense. Because last night they came out real flat defensively, and they let the Heat use them like a fucking doormat last night. They did. The Heat used them and did whatever they wanted to with them. I mean, it was the first time I had seen the Nuggets look exhausted and ran out of their own building. Usually they're the ones doing the running the other teams out of the building. Last night it looked like the Heat in the first quarter especially looked like they were running the Nuggets out of the building. It was crazy. It was something I was kind of shocked at because you look at the Heat, you look at the record, you look at them on paper, and they just didn't seem like much of a threat. And Jokic, he looked so exhausted at the end of one quarter. He really did. He was huffing and puffing a lot. I mean, Jokic noticeably is a little bit heavier this year than he has been in the past 2 or 3 years. But it's just I don't know. He just looked really exhausted, like he couldn't keep up with that. His strength is more his IQ, his passing, his getting people involved. It's not so much athleticism, and we've known this about Jokic for a long time. But that doesn't mean he's not great. He's still one of the greatest centers to ever play the game, and he will be by the time it's all said and done. He wins one more title, and he's already a better center than Shaq ever was. So, like, you know, just to put that in perspective. But like Nikola Jokic, you know, he was just he was on fire last night. We'll get to more of that a little bit later. But on the Heat side, Norman Powell. When will the Nuggets learn to stop Norman Powell? It doesn't matter what team this guy has been on. He has owned the Nuggets. He really has owned the Nuggets. Norman Powell has. Time in, time out. Last night, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. It just killed the Nuggets in the first half. He really did. And he was just consistently good all game long. And the Nuggets just looked like they had no answer for him defensively. They looked like they didn't have an answer for a lot of people defensively in that first quarter. And it was really concerning to watch. The Nuggets defense has been an issue for the past couple of years, and it really needs to get right back on track where it needs to be. Some other highlights I want to point out. Aaron Gordon, another solid game. 24 points from Aaron Gordon last night. Really solid. That's what we expect out of Aaron Gordon. Mr. Nugget himself, he did a really good job last night. Nikola Jokic, another triple double, 33 points, 15 assists, 16 rebounds. I'm sorry, 15 rebounds, 16 assists. Absolute fire game. He could have had 25 assists if he wanted, and he just didn't because I think that I wouldn't hold this as a typical expectation for Nikola Jokic this year. I think he'll have a game like this every 1 out of 10 games. But it seems like the direction in which Nikola Jokic is going this year is more so like a team player. Getting everybody else involved rather than focus on his individual stats. Let me make this very clear to everybody. Nikola Jokic does not give a shit about his stat sheet. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he puts up 2 points or 22 points a night. He just cares that the Nuggets win. And that's what I love the most about Nikola Jokic more than anything. And people need to realize that. Like I said before, Christian Brown with another solid game, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Jonas Valanciunas is proving to be a really solid backup option for Nikola Jokic. And I do think this will eventually be a very crucial thing for the Nuggets' long-term success. I do. I just do for some reason. Like Valanciunas is so solid. So solid at that backup center position. Tim Hardaway, like the moment Valanciunas came in, he seemed so unfazed by what was going on. It was a complete change of pace. It looked really well, looked really smooth. Tim Hardaway, absolute beast. 18 points, 7 of 12 from the field in 21 minutes, shooting almost 60% from the field. Like, damn. Damn. So good. We needed that. We needed that at the most crucial times. I want to see more of that out of Tim Hardaway. Not exactly that, but like solid minutes. It was a little bit more over than solid last night, but I want to see around, a little bit less ish consistently from Tim Hardaway. It's like Jamal. I want him to be consistent. You know, consistency is key in basketball. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but still, Cam Johnson still needs a breakout offensive game. He really does. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and grace because, again, I beat it to death. I'll say it again though one more time. New team, new system. You don't get to play with a player like Nikola Jokic. And, Cam Johnson in Brooklyn was kind of just a big fish in a small pond. Now he's kind of like a regular sized fish in a regular sized pond with a bunch of other regular sized fish. Don't think Cam Johnson is necessarily hasn't been used to the concept of team play and equal play. So he's learning how to figure that out. Still really great defensively, though. Still really great defensively. Nuggets, they continued to struggle last night with 17 turnovers. The turnovers on the Nuggets have been glaring. So glaring. They got to stop turning the ball over. I mean, this is it's not good. You know, it's not good at all for the Nuggets with their turnovers. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been, you know, they're averaging 13.9 turnovers a game. It's eighth in the NBA this year. It just it's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. I don't it's a very clearing stat that the Nuggets need to clean up because they have turnovers in really crucial times and it hurts them. It costs them a lot. It really costs them a lot. They need to pick that up. They need to clean that up significantly. But upcoming game tomorrow night against the Warriors. This needs to be a revenge game for the Denver Nuggets. This really does. This really needs to be a revenge game. The Nuggets opened the season against the Warriors, and you know we all saw what that was. It was a very close loss against the Warriors, 137. No, I'm sorry, it's not 137. Yeah, 137 to 131. Still a high scoring game, but the Nuggets ultimately didn't make the plays when they needed to. And Steph Curry got hot. And when Steph Curry gets hot, he's tough to stop. He really is. I mean, tomorrow night, here we go in the stupid, pointless NBA Cup. Um, I'm just going to say this, just get it out of the way. A couple seconds. The NBA Cup is stupid. It's dumb. It's it's a pointless concept. It really is. I don't understand what it is. I think a lot of the majority of the teams just don't give a shit. It just I don't know. It had good intentions, but ultimately, I think the bloom is off the rose for it. I really do. I really do. So that's all I have for the Nuggets. Hopefully, they pick up that win tomorrow night. We'll check back in next Tuesday. They got a couple more games happening as well, I believe, than just the Warriors. Then they got the Pacers on a back to back on Saturday night, and then Tuesday night they will take on the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. So we'll have all recap of all three of those games. That's going to be a Nuggets heavy podcast um, there for the Nuggets. So let's move on to our next bit of topic. I don't have a background for these guys, so I'm just going to go back to Denver background. Colorado Rockies. Um, I said previously I wasn't going to talk about them unless significant things happened, and a couple significant things did happen today. Let's go over some quick review here for the Rockies of what's happened so far. I think it was like a week or so ago, Bill Schmidt stepped down as GM. They fired Bud Black, obviously. Um, the new GM slash president of baseball operations search has been an absolute disaster. But then again, we're talking about the Rockies. What hasn't been a disaster for this team ever, really honestly. Um they had two there was a source close to the situation that said two candidates both pulled out of the GM slash president of baseball operations search. One because of salary disagreement, and the other because Dick Monfort said that they were going to have no control over the contracts of the team. And I think that's a real point of contention for anybody who wants to come in here and be a general manager slash baseball president of baseball operations for this team. I really do. Like you have the Rockies have an absolute shit contract situation with a lot of their players. It's bad. I get it. We don't have the biggest payroll in Major League Baseball, but like you could definitely work your contracts better to where you're not paying Chris Bryant an assload of money to just sit on the bench because he's injured every 5 damn seconds. Like, I don't blame that person for walking away from it because it's just it's crazy. And this whole notion that's going around between the Rockies fan base of, "Oh, we should have Dante Bichette be it," or, other Vinny Castilla because he's been in the organization, or, some other alumni player, just because, they elevated, um who was it? They elevated a player, Charlie Blackman, into the front office right after his career. I don't like that. I don't like that at all because I just think that all that is just setting up somebody to be a puppet for Dick Monfort. That's all it is. It's not going to be. It's if they had no say so as a player, what the hell makes you think they're going to have any say so as a GM or president of baseball operations? They're not. They're going to have very little. Monfort would love that. Dick Monfort would love that because he would have them right where he wanted them still, which is doing everything that he says. And that would just be bullshit, quite frankly. I don't agree with that at all. Um, they did go out today and hire a new GM, president of baseball operations. Um, Paul DePodesta, I think that's how you say it. He was basically the guy who Jonah Hill played in the movie Moneyball for the Oakland A's. It's not really good optics for the Rockies. The guy's been out of baseball for a decade. He's been running operations, part of the Cleveland Browns, and he was involved in that whole Deshaun Watson trade. And it seems like this was like the Rockies should have been looking for general manager candidates for months now. I mean, it's now November 6th. The season ended like the season ended a while ago. It did. It ended a while ago. I mean, the season ended on September 28th. September 28th. That's it's almost like it's been like almost a month and a half. I get it. There's a few factors here in play, right? There's a looming lockout happening. The collective bargaining agreement's going to expire, and who the hell knows if the owners and the players association is ever going to agree on a term, because the big point of contention for this whole entire CBA is a salary cap, right? And we went over that on Wednesday. And I get that. I get why people would. I get why there's a lot of reluctancy to take this job. The Rockies are the ugly girl at the dance, and they're just sitting in the corner by themselves. Nobody wants this job. Nobody wants this job because they understand they understand what this job is all about. There's been several former employees of the Colorado Rockies that have gone on podcasts and have openly admitted that it was like hell working for the Rockies because of how incompetent management was from the top down in that organization. This organization. I mean, much like how the Cowboys aren't getting any better until Jerry Jones is no longer the owner, it's kind of the same situation that the Colorado Rockies are in right now. This situation I don't see gets any better until Dick Monfort is no longer the owner of this team. I mean, there's there's a little glimmer of hope now that he has made his son in charge of the team operations, but not that much. I mean, do you think his son is going to have total and complete free reign of what happens with the Rockies? I don't. I still think there's going to be a lot of guidelines that he has to work under his father. I don't see how this situation gets any better. Honestly, I don't. It's this is all hinging on the lockout, the collective bargaining agreements. I don't even know how to even put into words what this is. The optics on it are bad. Okay, this guy hasn't been in baseball in 10 years, and when he was hot in baseball, it was for one organization, and we all kind of know who the mastermind behind the Moneyball movement was. It was Billy Bean, it was Theo Epstein. You know, it was those guys. I not once have I heard of Paul DePodesta. I mean, you heard about it, and then Moneyball, the movie, but you never hear him touted anywhere in the public media since then. It's concerning. Another just one more gleaming little light of awesomeness for the Rockies. It was announced today that Hunter Goodman did win the Silver Slugger. He's the first Rockies catcher to ever do so, which is awesome. Hunter Goodman had a hell of a year. He really did. I mean, he was a little bright, shimmering hope on this squad, on this Colorado Rockies squad. Just going over his stats for 2025: 278 batting average, 31 home runs, 91 RBIs, and an OPS of 830, 843. So pretty solid year. Pretty damn solid year by Hunter Goodman. It really was. I it's going to be tough covering the Rockies. I don't know what more I'm going to say. Like summer's going to be tough. Especially there's no lockout. I don't I may just take the whole summer off of this podcast. I mean, what is there going to be to report on other than maybe I'll take a couple months off. That'll be for sure. April and May. That's if the Nuggets don't win a title or the Avs aren't in the Stanley Cup. I don't know. I may take June off, and that might be it because July training camp starts for the Broncos. Then August preseason, September. Here we go. We're ready to rock again next season. So that's what's up for the Rockies. um, let's move into our third team we cover here. That is the one and the only, ladies and gentlemen, the Colorado Avalanche. Now, it's been quiet for the Avs, right? They had a game against Tampa Bay um, Tuesday night. They won. We reviewed that on episode 1. You can go check that podcast out. Um, you know, they do have a back to back this weekend. Saturday in Edmonton, Sunday in Vancouver. They just have days off until then. Not much going on for the Avalanche right now. They're getting some much needed rest. Some much needed rest because it looked like Cale McCarr got pretty banged up last game when he took that puck to the hand. There's no way that felt good in any way possible. Goalies are getting rest. Mackenzie Blackwood's getting a lot much more needed rest from his injury, from his surgery. That's a positive. Yeah, I will say it's going to be very interesting to see who Jared Bednar goes with in goalie in net on this road trip. Um, he keeps saying that Mackenzie Blackwood is still shaking off some rust from his surgery. So do not be surprised if Scott Wedgwood gets the starts in both of these games so that Mackenzie can still stay back at home and get some rest and maybe comes back Tuesday night against the Ducks. Possibly. Possibly. But they got back to back Saturday Edmonton, Sunday at Vancouver. Then they come home on Tuesday to face the Anaheim Ducks. And these two teams, Edmonton and Vancouver, you know, it's not been good for the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. In the last 3 games, the Oilers are 1-2 in their last 3 games. On the 1st of November, they lost they won 2-3 in overtime against Chicago. Lost on the 3rd to the Blues 2-3, and then lost in a shootout against the Stars on November 4th 4-3. I mean, overall, it hasn't been good for the Oilers. I mean, they as it stands right now, they're currently 5th in the Pacific Division with only 16 points. Their home record though has been decent. It's 4-0-2, so they're kind of undefeated at home, which the Avalanche are going to Edmonton in. So they have been undefeated with two. But like here's the point of contention now: they have 2 overtime losses, but the Avalanche are winless in overtime. So if this game goes to overtime, it's going to get real interesting because the Oilers are winless in overtime at home, and or they have 2 overtime losses, and the Avalanche are winless in overtime. And then, respectively speaking, Vancouver is right below them in 6th place in the Pacific Division with only 14 points. Um, they do not have a good home record. They're 2-4-0 at home. Like I said it on Wednesday. I'll say it today, Friday. The worst that can happen is to go 1-1 on this road trip. The best they can go is 2-2-0. It just I don't know. It's it's interesting. It's going to get real dicey if Wedgwood goes both games. After I mean, yes, the Avalanche did win on Tuesday against the Lightning, but uh the good news about it was that Wedgwood didn't see much action until the end of the game, right? Most of his saves didn't come till the end of the game because the Avalanche defense was so damn good against Tampa Bay. But, Wedgwood keeps going. It's going to wear on him at some point. He's going to need a break at some point. So that'll be an interesting thing to look at as the Avs go to take that little mini trip to Western Canada this weekend. We shall see. We will have it all recapped for you on Wednesday. All 3 games. It's going to be heavy recap. Nuggets and Avs podcast Wednesday. That's for sure. It'll be very heavy recap. Um, it's just like the one thing I've been seeing that's kind of concerning me as well. And look, I'm going to give this guy some grace because I mean, it's the obvious, right? Like Gabriel Landeskog, has came. It's a miracle he's on that ice today, right? It's a miracle he's on that ice today. But so far, through 15 games, he's had no goals, 4 assists, 4 points. Um, I know he hasn't really had a full season to come back, right? He hasn't because he debuted in the playoffs last year, and the Avs got bounced in the second round, right? So it's not really it's not really a good sample size to come off of that severe of an injury. It's gonna, Gabe is not no spring chicken no more. He's 32 years old. Okay, he's he's played, you know 16 years in the NHL. It's been a while, and not to mention that it's a miracle he's even skating on the ice, right? It is a miracle. But his leadership, and look, he's been doing everything else right. All getting dirty in the corners, stick checking, poke checking, puck control, passing's been great from Gabriel Landeskog. Leadership is, I mean, it's immeasurable how great of a leader Gabriel Landeskog is in the locker room for the Colorado Avalanche, right? Just offensively, though, I'd like to see him chipping a little bit more. I mean, and it's not even that much. At his age, a 20-goal season, a 50-point season would be immaculate at 32, right? 50-point season, 20 goals, 30 assists. That would be immaculate. That's kind of what my expectations are. And I know I'm being realistic with it, right? Because like the leadership aspect is the most important thing for Gabriel, for Landeskog. That's why you need him on that ice more than anything. It's the little things he does that a little bit goes a long way with Gabriel Landeskog. I fully understand his role. Trust me, I'm not being unrealistic with this, but it's been kind of a slow start for Gabriel Landeskog to the season. I just need to see a little bit more, and he's especially against that game against Vancouver. It's good. It's a good way to warm it up a little bit. It'd be nice to see that. Also, something I'd love to see the Avalanche work on going into this little mini into this mini West Coast Canada trip would be to work on fine tuning that power play, right? Keep fine tuning that power play. It got fine tuned pretty well on Tuesday night against the Lightning. They were only 1 for 4, but the fluidity was there. You can see it improving, and I think it will continue to improve as the season goes along. It's improving, even though it may not show up on the stat sheet. I can just see. I've watched all 15 games the Avs have played this year, and up until Tuesday night, the power play was fucking atrocious. It was bad. It wasn't good. They were playing like it was even strength. They've almost given up like 3 shorthanded goals on the power play too. It's not been good for the Avalanche. It's not been good. So I'd like to see them continue to fine tune that more. I like to see a plus 500 stat on the power play this weekend. I think that's something the boys can strive towards. Because like Nate McKinnon is just playing his ass off. So is Marty Necas. He's cooled down a little bit, but Marty Necas is, you know, he's been there. He's been there for sure. For sure. For sure. And then, Victor Olofsson had 2 goals last game. Like to see him continue with that. I just like to see I like to see a little bit more from that third and fourth line too. I really would. You got Bernsey down there, as a veteran leadership. Let's just kick those boys a little bit in the tail and get them going. That's what I would like to see. So I saw an interesting thing on X, by benchrates.com. It says the top 10 NHL defensemen by goals for percentage 5-on-5 on November 6th. That's today, as we're recording this. Minimum 100 minutes. Number 1, J.J. Moser from the Lightning at 65.96. Number 2 is Sam Malinsky, the Colorado Avalanche. 64.96 goals for percentage. Number 3, Cale Makar. Cale Makar has been an absolutely defensive machine this year for the Colorado Avalanche. An absolute defensive machine. He has been. I mean, you see it all the time, folks. It's Hall of Fame type play going on by Cale Makar. And it's going to continue that way. It really is. Number 4, Devon Taves, 64.30. So 3 out of the top 5 players in the entire World of hockey. In the entire NHL, 3 out of those top 5 are Colorado Avalanche defensemen. That's a testament to the defensive year that the Colorado Avalanche are having, which has been a saving grace for Mackenzie Blackwood. Because there were doubts. I mean, Wedgwood has been pretty solid, but you do have your doubts with him long term. Because after all, he is a backup. You just worry about the consistent hold on that, right? But the Avalanche defense have really stepped it up this year, and that shows. I don't like to look at statistics as the whole thing, but statistics, plus the eye test, you can see it in the first through 15 games with the Colorado Avalanche. You can really, really see it with them. This team is a defensively first-minded team this year. And yes, the famous saying goes, defense wins championships, offense sells tickets. It's true. The Avalanche, when they won the Stanley Cup in 2022, were a defensively minded team. And it showed out. So I have just got this feeling about the Avs. It's a really, really good feeling. Really, really good feeling. We will see how all that goes. We'll be back on Wednesday to break it all down for you guys. For them, for the Avalanche. We'll see how this road trip plus this little 1-game homestand goes with the Ducks. It'll be interesting. We'll have it all for you Wednesday here on the Case by Case Sports Show. Let's move along to our main event. The reason why you guys are all here. The appetizer for tonight, the Denver Broncos. Broncos were coming in today 7-2, tied for first in the National Football League as the best record. Thursday night game off a short week win on Sunday versus the Houston Texans. And they come in tonight, Thursday night football, against the Las Vegas Raiders. And boy, was this game just slop shit in a game personified. It was bad. The Broncos do win 10-7. They are now 8-2. I don't know how the fuck we're saying that, given how this team has played through 10 games this year. But they are. The Broncos are 8-2. That is a surreal sentence to say. It's surreal to say that shit. The Broncos are 8-2. But they are. They are 8-2. They are. So coming into the game, it was noted that the wind was whipping pretty hard, up to 35-mile-an-hour gusts. They expected it to die down before the game, but it didn't. It died down through the game. Still was blowing by the end of the game, just not as hard as it was at the beginning of the game. But boy, oh boy, did the Broncos ever struggle offensively through the wind. Yes, I will say this. The wind was a factor, but it's not an excuse for how shitty the play calling was, how vanilla the play calling was. Bo Nix at times looked like a deer in the headlights and frustrated because I think in certain ways Bo Nix is being hindered with this offense. I don't want to say that he's just bending it over and let Sean Payton just do whatever he wants with him. But at the same time, I will say you can tell that it seems like Bo wants to improvise and Sean's not going to let him because we all know that was his biggest point of contention with Russell Wilson, right? Was that Russell Wilson wanted to improvise with every single play, and that absolutely boiled Sean Payton's blood because he wants a do-bot at quarterback. He wants somebody to do what he tells them to do and run the plays that he calls. To me, though, I don't think that Bo Nix necessarily operates that way. I think he operates that way under certain guidelines and circumstances. But when the Broncos are having a bad game, it seems like Bo Nix wants to break away from that and improvise to really open things up to see how things are and what works and what doesn't. And it kind of pisses me off that Sean Payton is not really open to that, or that he doesn't want to be open to that. It's kind of frustrating. I will say that's kind of frustrating. It's kind of irritating because it's like if something's not working, maybe just for a series or two, see what does. Because I don't know what the hell is going on with Sean Payton, but like at the it's just like for the first half of games, he doesn't want to run the ball at all. He doesn't. He doesn't want to run the fucking ball, and I don't understand it. It is like, look, I fully recognize I'm an idiot with the microphone, right? Like I've never coached in the NFL. I've never coached a football game. I have played football, but I do know like out of my 35 years, 34 years on this planet, I do know and watching football for almost 30 of those years, I do know that, you got to mix it up a little bit on offense. You got to. Because the couple times Sean Payton did stick with the run, it yielded in a touchdown for the Broncos. The only one. Yes, it was a passing touchdown to Troy Franklin, but like J.K. Dobbins helped get a good chunk of yards a couple of those plays. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is this offense doing? I sense a point of contingency and a little bit of power struggle between Bo Nix and Sean Payton. I really do. It seemed like there were a couple of points tonight where Bo Nix got absolutely frustrated with Sean Payton. And yes, he's going through the kinks and the still, polishing out his skill set as a quarterback because he's in his second year. And I get all that, right? Grace given to those things. Because yes, he is in his second year. I think why the expectation has been so great on Bo Nix is because of the fact that he was a super senior in college and that he was like 61 starts under his belt in college between Auburn and Oregon combined. So we just assumed that he would be NFL ready, even though like you could have 100 college starts, and the skill level and the speed, the pace of play is so night and day. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter if you've had 100, 200, 1,000 college starts under your belt. The difference in skill level and pace of play and size and IQ between college and NFL is fucking wider than the Grand Canyon. Okay? It's massive. It's not something that anybody can just come in and grasp. And it's not even been 2 years. It's been a year and a half. For fuck's sake. Like, I don't know. I think people just need to settle down a little bit with Bo Nix. Just settle down just a little bit. Let's tamper it a little bit. Okay? Yeah, I get it. It's frustrating. And I think a lot of the frustration too with this offense and with the way the Broncos are performing is because it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years of shit football, of less than mediocre to the best mediocre, right? We've seen it all as Broncos fans. It's been a fucking decade since this team was any type of relevant. It's been 10 years since we made it was 9 years since we made the playoffs. We just made the playoffs for the first time in 9 years last year. I get it. I completely understand it. But you still have to have patience. We have we haven't drafted a true rookie quarterback in a while and seen like an actually talented, skilled rookie quarterback in some time since probably Jay Cutler. Honestly. Honestly. Probably Brock Osweiler, but still, like, he had half a season. It wasn't even that much. And then, like, we had when we didn't even get the year after Manning with him. We just traded him away to the Texans immediately. It was stupid. But it's just like, I get it. I get why these things add up. I understand the frustration. I get that it's been 10 years. I get that we've won 3 Super Bowls as a franchise. We have an expectation of Super Bowl winning legendary quarterback play in this town. I get it. But guys, it wasn't until John Elway's last 2 years of his career that he made the Super Bowl and won both of them. It wasn't like John Elway went to 2 Super Bowls before he won 2. Like, I think we all forget that as Broncos fans. Like, and countless, and I think it was like 5 AFC championship games before he won 2 Super Bowls back to back. I understand that the league was different then. It's a different league now. It's win now. It's a win now designed league, especially now that you can find ways to circumvent the salary cap and all that shit. I get it. I get it. But I think we just need a little bit more patience. The frustrating the game calling, the play sorry, fuck. The play calling is frustrating. I don't know when Sean, like, that's the one thing that's pissed me off about Sean Payton this whole entire year is there has been a little bit of times where he's like, that's on me. But like when it comes to his play calling, when it comes to pace of play, he said he doesn't want to talk about it. Why, Sean? Why? Because like I'm sorry, there were times tonight where I looked at the offense, it was fucking vanilla. It was bad, and I get it. The wind's blowing, it's gusting. There's not much you can do through the air because Bo Nix tried and it was bad. But then run the fucking ball. Figure it out. Adjust. That's your job as a coach. That's your job as a team. Yeah, they got to get off this whole like we're sticking to the script and that's the way it's going to go. You do that and you're going to get your ass handed to you in the first round. It's not even going to be a contest again. And granted, trust me, I understand the Broncos don't have the weapons to compete this year. But if they turn it around, they can make some noise. At best, they get to the AFC title game. At worst, they get bounced in the first round. I, I get it. We should all be happy. They're 8-2, now the best record in the NFL. I get it, but you can't recognize that there's not issues on this team. The defense has been outstanding. The defense has been unfucking godly. I mean, they hurt Geno Smith bad tonight. They did. They hurt Geno Smith so bad tonight. They really took him to the cleaners. The defense did their job. They did. I mean, the Broncos in total, they had 2 turnovers. 2 turnovers, excuse me. I'm looking through the team stats here. You know, 220 yards total on offense. You know, wasn't good. Broncos got to stop turning the ball over. That's going to be costly. That's going to be real costly for them. It really is. I mean, tonight the defense had a total of 6 sacks. 6 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. They did their job. They did their job. The defense more than did their job. And they had an interception. They're about the only non-complaint I have about this team right now is the defense. I mean, yes, it was a short week. Yes, the wind was blowing. It was difficult conditions to play under. I get it. But, like, great teams overcome. And the Broncos did overcome tonight. They did. But the offensive play's got to be way more fluid than this. You're kind of on a mini bye. Kansas City's coming off a bye. And, like, Andy Reid is like 1,001 record off the bye. This Chiefs team is humming. They're now back to where they were. Yes, they lost against the Bills. But best believe they're going to come to Denver, Colorado on November 16th in 10 days. And they're going to come to fucking play. See, the offense and the special teams better get their fucking shit together, dude. Seriously, they better get their shit together. Bo Nix and Sean Payton better figure this shit out. Because you cannot, under any circumstances, play like that against the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't. It's not going to go well. You're going to get your asses kicked in hard. Bent over. They're going to get bent. It's not even going to be a contest. It'll be over by halftime. The Broncos play like they have in the first 10 games in 10 days. It's over by halftime. It's over by halftime. Because the defense, dude, if I'm the defense tonight, I'm pissed. The defense busted their ass, man. They gave you every opportunity. It was just stall. What the fuck are we doing? The wind is blowing. It's blowing. And you want to try a 60-yard field goal in the wind? For what? For what? Just fucking go for it. You got 2 more downs. Go for it on 4th. You would have gave it to the ball. If you don't get it, you give it the ball to them where you gave it to them anyway because you missed a fucking field goal. Some of these decisions, man. Some of these decisions. One more thing I'll say before I get out of here. Special teams, again, fucking atrocious. Terrible. Sean Payton needs to stop defending his special teams coach. With bullshit excuses, too. It's not on the players to figure out substitutions. Sean. It's not on the players to coach themselves how to block. It's not on the players to put themselves in situational punt returns where we're not even retrieving punts and it goes out of the bounds of the half fucking yard line. Okay? At some point, it's got to be on your boy, Rizzy. I know you guys were boys in New Orleans, but that was you. Dude, you can't base everything on friendships and hooking people up, man. Do you want to win a Super Bowl or not? Because this shit matters. This shit more than matters if you want to win a Super Bowl. You want to add to your legacy? Or do you just want to be the guy who was known that took care of his boys? And it cost us in the times that we need the most. We need fucking players, man. We need players and we need coaches that want to come win a fucking championship. Period. End of story. Penalties. God damn the penalties. Clean it up, boys. The most penalized teams in football in the history of ever have never been the Super Bowl champion. You cannot keep committing as many fucking penalties as you do and expect to win a championship. I get it. It's not really an expectation this year, but it starts. It's the little things that add up, man. It's a little thing that you want to compete against Buffalo. You want to compete against Kansas City. You want to show them that you're taking that step. Cut the shit with the penalties, man. I mean, yeah, the Broncos get the win. They're 8-2. Understand it. I understand I shouldn't feel this way. What's wrong with you? I get it. A lot of fans are going to have contention with these and disagree with me. That's fine. That's fine. Disagree with me all you want. That's the beauty of the country we live in. You're allowed to disagree, but at some point, it's going to catch up to them if they keep playing like it. It will. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Have a great Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you guys next week. Case by Case Sports Show. Give us a follow on X. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. No, you want to? Do it. Cost $0.00 to do so. Follow us on TikTok. Case by Case Sports Show. Look it up, baby. We're there. I'm out of here. Hopefully the Broncos can get it together next Sunday at home against Kansas City. Hopefully the Avs can go 2-0. Hopefully the Nuggets can go 2-0. We'll see. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about all of it and break it all down. We'll see you then. Have a good day, everybody.